How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Boylai Hobby Time. I saw the trailer for the Book of Boba Fett, and it got me excited about the Book of Boba Fett. So I decided to customize a Boba Fett to look like the Book of Boba Fett, sitting on his throne of Boba Fett. I took all of the Beskar pieces, taped them to a little board, took them outside, and I spray painted them with a glossy metallic silver spray paint. I separated all of the pieces that needed to be painted different colors, and I began applying their base coats. The silver is not a good primer because it doesn't hold the paint layers above it very well, but that is exactly what we want. The red is a combination between dark Vermillion and Mahogany. Mix that up in the airbrush. I probably could have taken this a shade darker, but it's pretty close. I used a photo from Instagram as a reference. This is the most recent photo of Boba Fett that we have. And it looks like, since we saw him last, he has gained a few more scuffs and scratches. I think he likes the look. That is always how we saw him before Mandalorian. But I would imagine that that previous paint job represented a certain failure to him. Also, a lot of those chips and scuffs were given to the armor when somebody else was wearing them. So in my mind, he repainted it. Now he can get all of the chips and scuffs that he wants. They're all his. He can chip and scuff to his heart's content. I know some people don't like the new look with the black clothing under the armor. I personally think it is a good choice, especially considering the new era of Boba Fett that this is. He's no longer the hired bounty hunter, but the king of the underworld. And I think this is a very regal look, and I think it demands a lot of respect. So I like it. After I was done with the customizations on Boba Fett, it was time to build his throne. I built it primarily out of XPS foam, which I cut on my hot wire table, which allows me to get some nice, clean cuts that would be very difficult with just a utility knife. These hot wire tables are pretty great. They make short work of the foam, but they are pretty quiet. So if you are intimidated by the deafening silence, you can always listen to table saw noises on Spotify. I had a photo of the throne in front of me to use as a reference while I was building this. I didn't have any measurements though. I just kind of wung it and worked on each individual piece as I saw it in the photo. I cut off these two sections to go at the end, and I needed a way to round those off, so I found something that was round and similar in size and traced around the top of that. Cut it off with the utility knife till it was mostly round, and then I finished that off with some sandpaper. When it comes to working with foam, I have been very inspired and learned a lot from my friend Mark. I'll put a link to his Instagram page below. He's also on Imager and does some really great step-by-step tutorials. But he always puts out very inspiring work. You should definitely go check that out. I rounded off the back of the throne the same way that I rounded off those two side pieces, and I did cut out a trim piece to match this one exactly, which I glued to the front. You will see that later. And on the side of the throne, there are these little wedges, so I cut out a long wedge and then cut it into a bunch of little wedges. I glued all of that together and then stuck it on top of a big stone slab, or styrofoam slab, and I gave the whole thing a stony texture with a tin foil ball. I added a cushion to the seat and the back of the chair, and then I sealed the whole thing with a Mod Podge paint mix. For the letters that fill the back of the chair, I traced those out digitally, and then transferred them over to my Cameo silhouette. This is my first time using the machine, and I was very happy with how it turned out. Started with styrene and then switched to a cardboard, so it was a little easier to work with. I pasted that on with the plaster and Mod Podge mix. I was really happy with how that turned out. I designed the Rancor head details on the iPad. I printed those out. And once I had stuck those to either side of the throne, it was ready for priming. To start off the painting, I pre-shaded with black along all of the lines and the cracks and the recesses. And then I gave the entire thing a light coat of a khaki sandy color. I then weathered it with a brown wash, and I dry brushed on some of that khaki again to help bring back some of the rocky texture. I added a light patina to those Rancor heads, and I dry brushed on some black and metallic paint. I also shaded one more time around those edges, and that was the painting done. The last thing to do was to apply some water decals that I had missed before. And once those were in place, I called it good. That is it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Huge thank you, as always, to my patrons. You guys are great. Have an awesome week, everyone. I'll see you next time.